Legendary, tragic, world-altering. Those are just a few words that describe the tale we will be going over today. It is the tale that begins the legendary rise of an unexpected boy and the unexpected fall of a man that everyone feared. This is the story of the boy who lived before the lightning struck.
No one ever lived after he decided to kill him.
Lily, take Harry and go!
No one except you.
Not Harry, please, not Harry!
He'll have that scar forever. I think you're like James. You are truly your father's son. To Harry Potter, the boy who lived.
A mother and father gone. A loyal best friend imprisoned. An enemy heartbroken. A traitor in hiding. A man left now friendless. And an old man who failed to protect the people he promised he would.
The truth. It is a beautiful and terrible thing and should therefore be treated with great caution.
Our story is perfectly symbolized by a statue that stands in the middle of the town, Godric's Hollow. This statue depicts a once happy family, torn apart because of what some might call destiny. A word that is an anchor for this story is loyalty. It's both good and bad, and it's what brought many of the characters that play a part in this story together. A young boy named James Potter had created a strong bond with 3 boys during his youth at Hogwarts.
I had friends. 3 great friends.
The friend group became known as the Marauders.
Everyone thought they were the height of cool.
James was referred to as Prongs by his friends.
Your father was the best friend I ever had, and he was a good person.
Then there was Sirius Black, also known as Padfoot.
Quite the double act, Sirius Black and James Potter, ringleaders of their little gang.
And then we have Peter Pettigrew, who was known as Wormtail.
That fat little boy who was always tagging around after them at Hogwarts. Hero worshipped Black and Potter.
And finally, there was Remus Lupin, who was also known as Moony, named as such because he was a werewolf.
I was terrified they would desert me the moment they found out what I was. Instead, they did something for me that would make my transformations not only bearable, but the best times of my life. They became animagi.
One person who did not buy into the popular Marauder boys the way everyone else did was a red-headed girl named Lily Evans.
You think you're funny, but you're just an arrogant, bullying toe rag, Potter. Well, he always made a fool of himself whenever Lily was around.
Like James, Lily's core was deeply rooted in loyalty. At this point, however, her loyalties lied with a Slytherin boy named Severus Snape.
Snivelous.
The two were best friends, but many questioned why. Lily was a beautiful, kind, and well-liked girl. Meanwhile, Snape was viewed as the complete opposite. He was ill-favored, unattractive, and was someone who dabbled in the dark arts.
I think James was everything Snape wanted to be. He was popular, he was good at Quidditch, good at pretty much everything. And Snape was just this little oddball who was up to his eyes in the dark arts.
Nevertheless, Lily stood by him. However, as the years progressed at Hogwarts, Lily saw a pattern with Snape that she did not like.
Thought we were supposed to be friends. Best friends. We are, Sev. But I don't like some of the people you're hanging around with. It was a laugh, that's all. It was dark magic, and if you think that's funny...
On one fateful day, an incident occurred which shifted the balance of where people's loyalties lied. In their 5th year at Hogwarts, Lily intervened to stop James and Sirius from bullying Severus.
Leave him alone. What's he done to you? It's more the fact that he exists, if you know what I mean.
James and Snape were mortal enemies, both crushing on the same girl.
Leave him alone. I will if you go out with me, Evans. Go out with me, and I'll never lay a wand on old Snively again.
James had humiliated Snape in front of everyone.
You're lucky Evans was here, Snivellus. I don't need help from filthy little mudbloods like her.
Lily's loyalty to Snape diminished in that moment, and their friendship was over.
It's too late. I've made excuses for you for years. None of my friends can understand why I even talk to you. You and your precious little Death Eater friends. I can't pretend anymore. You've chosen your way, I've chosen mine.
It didn't happen immediately, but the loyalty that Lily once had for Severus was eventually passed on to James Potter, the boy that Snape hated more than anybody else. James had matured a lot over the course of a year, which Lily recognized. She then took her loyalty to James even farther, as she made him her boyfriend.
She started going out with him in 7th year, once James had deflated his head a bit.
This bridged a friendship between Lily and the rest of the Marauders. She was incredibly kind to all of them, especially Remus, who she supported through his struggles with lycanthropy. She also built Peter up while everyone else tore him down. Lily Evans became an honorary member of the Marauders.
I solemnly swear
And this friendship continued following their days at Hogwarts.
that I am up to no good.
Lily had told Severus that he had chosen his way,
You've chosen your way,
and she had chosen hers.
I've chosen mine. Stay close to me.
And this statement became even more real when Lily joined Dumbledore's secret society, the Order of the Phoenix, to help fight the tyrant Voldemort, while Snape joined Voldemort's army.
Precious little Death Eater friends.
The Marauders fought side by side, but this grew harder as they saw more and more people in the Order fall. Fabian and Gideon Pruitt, who died in battle, Edgar Bones, Benji Fenwick, Marlene McKinnon, and several others. This made James and Lily realize that they should take advantage of the time that they had, and they decided to get married.
People think they might be dead tomorrow, so they're rushing all sorts of decisions that normally take time over. People eloping left, right, and center.
All of the Marauders were in attendance for the wedding, but the man that stood beside James on the altar was his best friend and his best man, Sirius.
Nothing changed when they left school. Black was best man when James married Lily. There was his father, waving up at him, beaming, the untidy black hair Harry had inherited standing up in all directions. There was his mother, alight with happiness, arm in arm with his dad. And there, their best man.
This was a day of pure happiness, a day that took them away from all of the troubles going on in the outside world. And this happiness did not end there. James and Lily, just 20 years old at the time, found out that they were going from a family of 2 to a family of 3. They welcomed their son Harry, who was born on July 31st, 1980. The boy who lived, the person about whom this tale revolves around, had finally come into this world. Harry looked just like James, but had Lily's eyes.
I expect you're tired of hearing it, but you do look extraordinarily like James. Except for your eyes, you have your mother's eyes.
Lily and James did not forget about their first family though, the family that they had made while at Hogwarts. Padfoot, Moony, and Wormtail were important parts of young Harry's life, Sirius even being bestowed the honor of being Harry's godfather.
You'd have thought Black and Potter were brothers, inseparable.
Then they named him Godfather to Harry.
Dear Padfoot, thank you for Harry's birthday present. It was his favorite by far.
Though they were overcome with happy times, the war around them did not stop. Lily and James bravely continued fighting while also nurturing their loving family. On the other side of the war, Severus Snape was playing his part in creating the boy who lived. He had overheard a prophecy foretold by Sybil Trelawney, and he delivered these words to his master, Lord Voldemort.
He told Voldemort about the prophecy. It was him. He listened outside the door.
Snape was perfectly fine with letting Voldemort kill a random baby, but when he found out Lily was involved, that's when he began to care. He still had a lot of love for her even after all these years, and so he went to Albus Dumbledore, the leader of the other side, and begged him to protect Lily.
You disgust me. You do not care, then, about the deaths of her husband and child? They can die as long as you have what you want. Keep them safe, please.
The one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord approaches.
Harry Potter, the boy who lived.
Born to those who have thrice defied him.
I always valued bravery. Yes, boy, your parents were brave.
Born as the 7th month dies. The person who has the only chance of conquering Lord Voldemort for good was born at the end of July. And the Dark Lord will mark him as his equal, but he will have power the Dark Lord knows not.
How is it that a baby with no extraordinary magical talent managed to defeat the greatest wizard of all time? How did you escape with nothing but a scar, while Lord Voldemort's powers were destroyed? If there is one thing Voldemort cannot understand, it is love.
It contains a force that is at once more wonderful and more terrible than death, than human intelligence, than the forces of nature. And either must die at the hand of the other, for neither can live while the other survives. One of us has got to kill the other one, in the end.
These words might not have been about young Harry, though. They could also have been about a baby named Neville Longbottom, whose parents Alice and Frank Longbottom were also in the Order of the Phoenix. However, Voldemort made his choice, which cemented Harry's destiny. A destiny that would eventually make him the boy who lived.
He chose not the pure blood, which according to his creed is the only kind of wizard worth being or knowing, but the half-blood, like himself. He saw himself in you before he had ever seen you.
These words, this prophecy, they were life-changing for the Potter family. The tyrant they had signed on to fight was now threatening the life of Lily and James's only son.
Dumbledore told them that their best chance was the Fidelius charm.
An immensely complex spell involving the magical concealment of a secret inside a single living soul.
Without most of them knowing it, every person involved in the story so far came together to help protect Harry. Lily and James, Sirius, Lupin, Pettigrew, Dumbledore, and even Snape.
Dumbledore, who was of course working tirelessly against you-know-who, had a number of useful spies. Severus Snape was indeed a Death Eater.
And what will you give me in return, Severus? Anything.
However, he rejoined our side before Lord Voldemort's downfall and turned spy for us at great personal risk. He is now no more a Death Eater than I am.
Loyalty. It was what was said in the beginning. This was one of James Potter's best traits, but was also one of his biggest faults. His trust in those close to him led to his and his family's downfall. Most believed that James wouldn't trust the man that he had already chosen for two monumental moments in his life.
Potter trusted Black beyond all his other friends.
However, Padfoot fell into the same trap as James, showing too much trust in his friends. Sirius told James and Lily that him being Secret Keeper was too obvious.
I persuaded Lily and James to change to Peter at the last moment, persuaded them to use him as Secret Keeper instead of me.
Wormtail, whom both James and Sirius thought they could trust, was now the only thing that stood between Voldemort and the Potters.
The information is hidden inside the chosen person or secret keeper and is henceforth impossible to find, unless of course the secret keeper chooses to divulge it.
Peter had not had many moments of importance, neither in school nor in his adult life, so he accepted the role of Secret Keeper right away. Getting this taste of importance, something he had lacked throughout most of his life, made him want more though. And to get it, he did something terrible.
Voldemort would be sure to come after me. He would never dream they'd use a weak, talentless thing like you. It must have been the finest moment of your miserable life, telling Voldemort you could hand him the Potters. Worthless and traitorous as you are, you helped me. And Lord Voldemort rewards his helpers.
Following his betrayal and informing Voldemort, Wormtail had the stomach to visit James, Lily, and Harry one last time in their home, knowing that he might never see them again.
Wormy was here last weekend. I thought he seemed down, but that was probably the news about the McKinnons.
With the information given to him by Pettigrew, Lord Voldemort had a free shot at ending the prophecy before it even had a chance to come forth. His task was clear. Kill the baby boy that was born as the 7th month dies before he has the chance to kill him.
He set out to kill you when he was still a baby, believing he was fulfilling the terms of the prophecy.
There was one thing Voldemort overlooked though. Snape, the person who had delivered Voldemort the prophecy, had not heard it in its entirety, meaning Voldemort only knew the beginning part of it.
He only heard the beginning, the part foretelling the birth of a boy in July to parents who had thrice defied Voldemort.
This made Voldemort unaware that killing Harry would not only mark this baby as his equal, but would give Harry powers.
He transferred some of his own powers to you the night he gave you that scar.
When Voldemort put his plan into motion, it was a wet and windy Halloween night, a night that would change the lives of everyone who had a hand in the creation of the boy who lived. After the lightning struck, it saw murder, wrongful imprisonment, betrayal, loneliness, heartbreak, and guilt. On Halloween in Godric's Hollow, kids were dressed in costumes collecting their candy, no idea of who walked amongst them. The hooded figure that was Lord Voldemort made his way through the town, and he drew the attention of a smiling Muggle boy. As soon as the boy saw what was beneath the hood though, the red eyes, the gaunt pale face, his smile vanished, and fear took over. As he ran away, the ruthless Dark Lord considered taking the boy's life, ensuring that he would never make it back to his mother. But he thought that this was quite unnecessary, especially because he was planning to carry out that exact act on Harry Potter. He stayed the course, intent on completing his mission, which was lucky for the innocent child who ran in the opposite direction. As Voldemort glided down a smaller street, he reached his destination. Though they did not know it,
Impossible to find.
Lord Voldemort could not only see their house, but could also walk up to their front door.
Unless the secret keeper chooses to divulge it.
It made him laugh how trusting they were of their friend who betrayed them. Lily and James were so sure of their friend's loyalty that they had not even drawn the curtains, allowing the Dark Lord to see inside the window. James Potter was playing with his son on the couch, shooting puffs of smoke out of his wand, which made Harry laugh as he tried to catch it. They had no idea of the danger that lay before them. Lily then walked in, and James handed his wife the son they loved so much. James, still so sure that they were safe, threw his wand on the couch, leaving him completely vulnerable. Voldemort slithered through the crunching leaves and opened the creaking gate. He then blasted the front door open, making James run into the hall.
Lily, take Harry and go! It's him! Go! Run! I'll hold him off!
These words made Voldemort laugh. It was too easy. Wandless, out in the open, no way to defend himself, he fell to the floor like a marionette whose strings were cut. As the green light filled the hallway, James Potter was dead on the ground. He was just 21 years old. Horrified screams could be heard from upstairs from his 21-year-old wife. Amusement swelled in Voldemort as Lily could be heard barricading the door as though that would stop him. Lily needn't die though. All that he wanted was the boy. His follower Snape had begged him to keep her alive, but he hardly cared about that. Voldemort slammed the bedroom door open, revealing a terrifyingly evil smile beneath his hood. Lily had also fallen under the same pretense that she was safe because of her friend's loyalty. This led to her being wandless, not even expecting an attack, and instead of holding a wand to protect herself and son, she was holding baby Harry in her arms. Lily put Harry in his crib and blocked the Dark Lord from getting near him.
Not Harry, please, not Harry! Take me! Kill me instead! Have mercy, not Harry, not Harry! Please, I'll do anything!
Her bravery was ironically what led to her death,
Your parents were brave.
but was also what saved her son. When Lily refused to step aside, the Dark Lord realized that killing all three of them would be more prudent than just keeping one alive. With a wave of his wand and a flash of green light, Lily dropped like her husband, an act that now made the 1-year-old Harry Potter an orphan.
If you had heard your mum screaming like that, just about to be killed, you wouldn't forget it in a hurry.
Lily and James's trust in their friends was their undoing. In the end, loyalty had failed them. When Voldemort turned his attention to Harry, Harry did not cry. He was standing, holding the bars of his crib, looking up at the intruder's face with a kind of bright interest.
Perhaps thinking that it was his father who hid beneath the cloak, making more pretty lights, and his mother would pop up any moment, laughing.
Moments later, however, he realized that this was indeed not his father, and that his mother would not and would never get up again. He finally began to cry, and as he did, Voldemort pointed his wand very carefully at Harry's face. He wanted to see it happen, the destruction of this boy, the only person that stood in his way according to the part of the prophecy that he had heard. With a wave of his wand, an explosion took place, blowing the top of the home off. Voldemort then became nothing but pain and terror.
On the night of the 31st of October 1981, Lily and James Potter lost their lives. Their son, Harry, remains the only wizard ever to have survived the killing curse. This house has been left in its ruined state as a monument to the Potters and as a reminder of the violence that tore apart their family.
While loyalty was what led to the demise of Lily and James, ignorance was what led to Voldemort's demise. The power that Voldemort knew not
Power the Dark Lord knows not.
was Lily's love for Harry. Her sacrifice triggered a protection for her son, making the Dark Lord's killing curse rebound and hit him instead. However, the entirety of Voldemort's body was not in that house.
I, who have gone further than anybody along the path that leads to immortality, to conquer death.
The soul is supposed to remain intact.
It appeared that one or more of my experiments had worked.
Splitting it is an act of violation. It is against nature.
Voldemort had split his soul into several pieces, and he had planned to make another Horcrux that night using the murder of Harry. But this went wrong.
A fragment of Voldemort's soul was blasted apart from the whole and latched itself onto the only living soul left in that collapsing building. Part of Lord Voldemort lives inside Harry.
The 1-year-old baby boy was trapped inside the home with his 2 lifeless parents,
Good luck, Harry, wherever you are.
and he now bore a scar on his forehead that he would don for the rest of his life.
If you read this, Harry, we're all behind you.
To Harry Potter.
Long live Harry Potter.
The lightning had struck, and the legend of the boy who lived had been born.